The needle dropped a hiss of static against the vinyl. The sound filled the small, sweltering Kingston room like a ghost. It was the sound of a life being lived, a note being held, a dream being clung to. For Ivanhoe Martin, it was the sound of his own heart, a frantic, reggae-infused rhythm against his ribs. He adjusted the cheap, slightly too tight suit jacket and stared at his reflection in the warped glass of the window. It wasn't the face of a country boy anymore. It was the face of a star it had to be. He was the hardest they come, or so the song said. And in the ruthless, sun-baked world of Kingston's music scene you had to be. He'd scraped and scrimped, sang for pennies in back alley bars, all for this moment. The moment his one and only single, a desperate plea for a better life, crackled through the tinny speaker. It was his soul laid bare for the world to judge. Across the room, his producer, a man with a gut like a barrel and eyes like polished stones, leaned back in his chair. It's a good sound, Ivan. He said the words devoid of any real feeling. A hungry sound, but the people, they don't buy hungry. They buy happy. Happy, the word tasted like ash in Ivan's mouth. There was no happy in the gully he'd clawed his way out of. There was only survival. He looked at the man, at the gold rings on his fingers that could feed a family for a month. No sir, Ivan said, his voice a low rumble. They buy truth, and this is the truth. The producer smirked a cynical twist of his lips. Truth don't pay the bills, boy. But I know a man who can get this on the radio. For a price. Ivan felt a familiar cold knot tighten in his stomach. He knew the price. It was the same one everyone paid in this city. A piece of your soul or a piece of your life. He thought of the sparse room he called home, the empty pocket of his trousers. He thought of the voice on the record, a voice that promised more than this. He nodded, a single sharp movement, whatever it takes. That was the beginning, and the beginning for a man like Ivan was also the beginning of the end. One deal led to another. A little favor, a small delivery. The money came easier than the music ever had. His star began to rise, not because of the song, but because of the shadow that came with it. He was no longer just a hopeful singer. He was a man with a reputation, a man to be feared. The same desperate ambition that had fueled his music now fueled a deadlier fire. He remembered the first time he saw the gun. It was sleek and cold in his hand, a perfect inverse of the warm, rough wood of his guitar. The man who gave it to him, a man with a scar that cut a canyon through his cheek, had smiled. For a star, he'd said, you need a little protection. The power was intoxicating. The fear in others' eyes was a currency, more potent than any record sale. The streets that had once ignored him now whispered his name. Ivanhoe Martin, the harder they come. But the song was no longer just about a boy and his dreams. It was about a man who was becoming a monster. The final scene was set in a dusty, decaying church, a place of last resorts. He had been cornered, the police closing in, his former allies turning against him. He was no longer a star but a burning ember, surrounded by the ashes of his choices. He looked at the recording contract that had started it all, now stained and crumpled in his pocket. It was a relic from a life he no longer recognized. He had the gun and there were bullets left. He could hear their boots on the stone steps. His reputation screamed at him to fight, to be the hardest they come. The sweat dripped down his temple, cold against his feverish skin. His finger tightened on the trigger, but he didn't raise the gun at the door. Instead, he looked at his own reflection in the dusty glass of a broken window. He didn't see the star. He saw a lost boy from the country, a boy with a voice. He saw the ghost of the man he should have been. A single shot cracked the silence of the Jamaica night. It wasn't aimed at the men in blue. The song faded out, the needle lifting with a soft click. In the room, the producer looked at the empty chair. The record lay still, a perfect black circle of what might have been. On the streets of Kingston, a new legend was being born. A story of a singer who'd gone out in a blaze of glory. But in the silent room, the only sound was the echo of the needle, a ghostly whisper of a boy who had wanted nothing more than to sing.